theory of everything. Okay, so we don't need a universal theory of everything like Hawking looked for. There are so many connections between all fields. So fields in mathematics are sets, well, groupings of rational numbers, which means numbers that can be expressed in a fraction form that satisfy the rules for the systems in question. These possibility fields are considered to be the current reality, which is interesting because in recent physics knowledge, as in the latest centuries or so, the buzzword really is, well, I don't think really centuries, but the buzzword is relativity. I reckon it's not really just potentials being simultaneously generating, but overrun into presence by perception, but it truly is how the person running in space-time can distort the fabric of their reality, and these distortions can amplify their perception of their reality. Electric fields are like bumper cars, as in reality they don't have to necessarily physically touch, as they can swerve, but still the act of swerving is impacting both sets of riders in the car, so impacts the fields themselves. So in line with the EPR paradox, spooky action occurs, albeit at a distance, which is unnatural to a person as it suggests a non-linearity. I can't say that word. Linearity that is governing the universe as we know it. It's basically just a potential energy that is stored from the increasing altitude that you can convert into kinetic energy in theory. I mean, obviously, like always, you don't live in a vacuum, neither do I. And even vacuums have potentials in some form or field per se, if we're sticking to the maths theory version as well. So like, you will have wasted energy, so converted into thermal energy and maybe sound energy. It's funny how the giants who are well known in these fields are the legends, but people don't try as hard anymore, as they assume theoretical physics is dead. Well, actually, I reckon it's alive, for as long as there are problems, and there are minds that can try working with the problems. I mean, I'd like to be a theoretical physicist, per se, but closely working with experimental physicists, in that I could offer ideas that they might miss, and they the same, you know? It's all about communication, I think. The world is not in neat mathematical fields or sets or whatever. It's an interconnected universe where ideas constantly being formulated and perceived into present minds. Technically, the Earth's momentum has ever so slightly changed because of the crash test of a dummy per se. But like, because the Earth is made of so much stuff, you know, matter, stuff, so has a huge mass, this doesn't matter so much to the egotistical Earth. The Earth is content, knowing that the change is absolutely negligible, and no one in their right mind would be nitpicking the miniscule changes in the Earth's momentum. Chaos theory teaches how these tiny changes in potential over time can lead to massive consequences in the future. Even I, because of popular culture nowadays, have to succumb to the practicalities of a Newtonian dream universe and ignore the anomalies, even though they will build up and blow in my face later, just because some authority of mass hysteria, also known as the scientific community, as in, you know, the big buff guys, believe that rationally we ought to not nitpick or we'd go insane. And those who do think like that must have lost their minds somewhere along the line. See, I firmly believe that it is the perceived crazy people who have the most to offer. So we need to listen to people like us, you know. They're not meant to be dead in history in diaries or podcasts or books, but let us live now, you know. Let us think and matter. We don't need to make perfections in a universe where there cannot be. it's not fair to chase a theory of everything, as it invalidates everything, as it arrogantly suggests that everything complies to this one specific thing, you know? Everything is also subjective. It's like a game of semantics on a strange level, really. I really think if anything has the most impact recently on physics, it's the revival of connecting concepts between fields on back of popular culture, increasingly engaging with chaos. However, even Feigenbaum said that it's a fraud to have the subject name chaos, which is very true. So really, it's a pointless endeavour to play with linguistics at the moment, per se. It drove Ehrenfest to a nightmarish existence of disassociation as he pushed for classical mechanics in a world that had grown too accustomed to it, that it lost its novelty, so it's not as fun, you know, thus losing the interest of the scientific community, leaving, you know, the great science communicators like him in the dust, while his friends were arguing this same semantics game. I'm ashamed of you. You are arguing against quantum theory, just as your opponents argued against relativity theory. So we're not here to debate, we're here to consider the future, the music in the theories of physics, past, present, future, and beyond. Yeah, so that's my answer to the question about the theory of everything. Hope that helps. This is Ramona Christian R out.